Hi everybody, a warm welcome to Wembley Way, just outside Wembley Stadium of course, the home of football. This place is also the home of Hayters TV podcast. It's over there at Box Park. Come and have a look. Hello everybody, a warm welcome then to the Debate podcast delivered courtesy of Hayters TV. With me, two gentlemen who know all about the field of journalism and football journalism. We're going to cast our eye onto all sorts of different subjects, but Liverpool primarily to start with, in the company of Gerry, writer, broadcaster at Hayters Television, alongside a man who's got, 50 years of writing experience across all the broadsheets, really. In fact,
so,
all four of them. In Patrick Barclay. Great to see you, gents.
Nice to be here.
Well, look, listen, obviously Liverpool very much the talking point after what happened against Manchester United at Anfield. 16 points clear, with a game in hand of their clearest rivals.
Yeah.
May as well give them the trophy now.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I hope so, because I put money on them at the start of the season. So,
is that ethical?
I need it. I don't know, but it seemed sensible at the time. And I don't make many good predictions, but yeah, I thought it was the bookies were giving their money away, and so it's proved. Yeah, I mean they're going to win it, and really, I think already. I don't know about you, but I've started thinking, about next season. And will it be more difficult?
I mean, it's win-win, isn't it? Either of those. They could, as you say, do it earlier. Yeah. The key thing, I think, and this is why Liverpool are so relentless, and I did a piece about it last week. We spoke to both Klopp and Jordan Henderson after the Spurs game, which was pretty much that sealed it. I don't think there were many doubts then. There certainly aren't any doubts now. They're going to win it. And they weren't even looking ahead to the game ahead of the next one. It was the old mantra: the next game, the next game, the next game. And I said to Henderson, you could have wrapped this up by Easter, when the Champions League gets really serious. He said, we can't even think about that. Don't even talk about that.
They're not interested.
And that's the mentality. You need.
You sure it's not just paying lip service?
Well, I think someone made the point yesterday. Probably behind the scenes, they're thinking, okay.
Well, they're probably asking for extra tickets for certain games and so on. But really,
publicly,
as long as you can train your mind to think that way. I mean, yes, it is textbook, but it's working for Liverpool. They just haven't had a bad spell in terms of results, and there must be reasons for that. Of course, there are many others than the psychological, but that's good.
And one other point, from that game last week, after the Spurs game, Klopp said this, and again, you could see it yesterday. Yeah. I said to him, one thing that goes under the radar a bit with a free-flowing attacking football and the sort of composure of Van Dijk is the work rate, the work ethic. So when Spurs were trying to break sort of 5 minutes from the end, Dele Alli was just surrounded by red shirts. They were swarming all over him. And Klopp said, but this is it. We're going for the biggest prize. I've told these guys, I want you absolutely exhausted at the end of every game. They are not going to let up. They are relentless, and that's got a lot of the old United of Ferguson and the rest.
Well, you can go back even further to the Shankly period. Yes. I can remember, like you two, I can remember that. And Anfield really was, throw in cliche as desired fortress, citadel, whatever. Anfield was a place where I think half the opposition would love it. Yeah. Half the opposition would be scared. And if you're playing only half a team every game, you're going to win. And in those days, Liverpool, for Liverpool to drop a point at home under Shankly was front page news, like it would be today.
Yeah, it is now. But the thing is now, it feels like if they're playing their cards close to their chest, the players that is, it felt like a seminal moment of full time when you actually heard the Anfield crowd sing, "We're going to win the league." And that's where you feel now that belief is, it's something that obviously they've wanted to temper for so long. But the fact that it was vocalised shows that the belief is now.
Yeah, I think they might also have had an eye on the audience, who they were singing at.
It
is true.
Gary Neville made that point on TV. He said, they haven't sung that for a while.
So
a little dig back.
I think, it was too United, but they've still got a long way to go to catch up on Ferguson's United in terms of consistency over not just years but decades.
Yeah, and I think also Liverpool, the club and the fans, are probably mindful of that game against Chelsea. If you remember, they were favourites to win it. Yeah. that before Chelsea arrived with Mourinho and the famous Gerrard slip. The morning of that game, they were packing the streets. It was almost like a celebration. They celebrated too early that year, didn't they? And they let it slip. So I think there's always been a bit of that. There's probably a bit of that around the club. There's certainly players who were there at the time, still thinking, let's not, until we really get over that finish line, let's not make that.
But there is a lot of work to do.
And
There
fans
is
will be
still a lot
thinking
of
that
work
as
to
well.
do.
Yeah. You received a tweet in the last day or two asking you, considering what Liverpool have done under Jurgen Klopp, is it reminiscent of what Klopp is doing in the early years of United under Sir Alex Ferguson?
Oh yeah, except it's quicker. Ferguson took 7-8 years, but football is quicker. Processes are quicker, both in a positive and a negative sense. Liverpool improved all over the field. I mean, the interesting thing about this, to answer your question, first of all, it'll take a long, long time, but it's a reasonable question to say, is Klopp the new Ferguson? Can he emulate Ferguson's deeds? Well, obviously not for a long, it's going to take a long, long time to do that, but it's a reasonable question. It's not a daft question. If you look back to what he did at Dortmund, what he did in a way at Mainz, he didn't do what Alex Ferguson did at Aberdeen at Mainz, but he transformed that club in a way that's still being felt. And then at Dortmund, Champions League finals and titles. So it's a reasonable question, but it's one that will keep us occupied for quite a few years to come.
And I think, if you're talking about building a dynasty, that's the thing. Can they go and do it again?
Yeah.
The promising sign is everyone below them, the opposition, are getting weaker. City are nothing like the force they were last year. No. Leicester have surprised a few people, but you wouldn't really expect them to be as strong as they were when they won the league. They've got a long way to catch up with Liverpool. And then the other sort of contenders, Chelsea, Spurs, United, Arsenal, a long way.
There's only you've got to look for scraps of consolation if you're one of the other teams. I was going to say, I must slip this one in. It's unlike Scotland. It's a one-horse race here, isn't it? But
do you know what? He's kept his powder dry up until this moment, hasn't he?
But no, it's already. If I was Man City, I'd be looking at African Nations Cup. Where Mane and Salah will both be away for 2 months, and Keita, who's growing in assurance.
They suffered when Mane was away, didn't they? A few years ago at Christmas, they were doing well. He went away, and suddenly the goals dried up.
But you could have said in December, if you were a Man City or Leicester chasing, you could have said, but they're going to be away at the World Club. They ensured themselves with a 12-point lead before they went to the World Club Championship, and then the other teams imploded while they were away.
Do you think the fact that news that came out recently about the AFCON being in January, do you think it was received with a bit of a welcome glee from Pep Guardiola, thinking, actually, you know what? We might have a decent...
He'll lose Mahrez, but that's all.
Yeah, but that's
possibly. But I think, it's still only a small part of the season, isn't it? You're
still got to get within 2 or 3 points of them.
Of course you do,
Liverpool are the strongest team in the country.
I mean, and there's no reason
they're
to
world
think
champions
they won't.
now. They are.
At Dortmund, he repeated a domestic title win. So why not at Liverpool? Because the great thing about him, we were Klopp. But it's sounded like a horse going down the street there, didn't it? But we're talking about Klopp a lot, and rightly so. But what you also have to say is that he and the club itself, it's been a sort of perfect storm in a way. Everything about Liverpool is right. Somebody was saying yesterday about how their throw-ins have improved because they've got a throw-ins coach.
A throw-in coach,
So they work.
Which they were derided for at the time.
Yeah.
And it's those marginal gains, isn't it? Dave Brailsford talks about them in cycling, and athletics coaches talk about marginal gains and those little things.
Yeah, but Klopp is a genius, there's no doubt about that.
So do we now expect essentially a procession for the next 4 months?
Obviously the other question is, can they go unbeaten in the league? Match what Arsenal did. And if you look at what Arsenal did, once they'd wrapped up the league, their performances tailed off. There were a few draws, and they weren't going for the wins as much as trying to defend the record. So it's whether Liverpool, having won the league, try to remain unbeaten if they are unbeaten at that point.
I don't think they'll be worried about.
Or go for a record.
Do you know, we
points
worry
haul.
about records and all that.
Yeah, no.
They won't care less about records. They'll want to win the league.
Yeah.
End of.
That's it.
And if they lose 6 games after the celebrations,
So
there
what?
won't be a lot of crying.
No.
But they are 2 points ahead of where City were when they racked up a century of points.
Yeah.
So they're on to actually overtake a century comfortably.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it there. Thanks very much.
Great.
Gerry. Thank you, Paddy.
Pleasure.
As always. Don't forget you can catch Hayters TV across all sorts of social media channels, including Instagram and YouTube. But from the 3 of us, the Flying Pickets. Bye for now.